Evening, everyone. Online students, can you able to hear me? My voice is audible to you? Online class also is going on. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can write in the chat box. Even after the class, we can discuss that. Okay. I'm starting with the session. So, do you know this course is called as what? Yes. Why we assembled here? To discuss what? What we want to discuss here? So first, we'll start with what? Linux or Windows? Windows, what we will discuss here? Windows is what? Which type of operating system? Graphical. Is that server or client? You have how many types of OS in Windows? Single or double or two types? How many types of OS you have? Two types. What are they? Client OS and server OS. So which OS we'll be discussing? Client OS of Windows or server OS of Windows? First we'll start with Windows. 3 weeks. Last week we'll discuss with what? Linux. That is the 4th week. Okay. So what do you know about like Windows? Windows is what? Just now you said, what is Windows? You said operating system. In that, how many types of operating system we have? Two types. Just now we discussed. So which one we will be discussing? Client OS or server OS? Why server OS? Is there any difference between client OS and server OS? What is the difference? So basically, when we talk about server OS and client OS, as the name indicates, server OS means what? On that OS, what we can do? We can configure that machine on which the server OS is installed as server. Server means what? Which provides you the services. And client OS means what generally? Which has been designed to use the services. So as a person, you want to work like a normal user or administrator. So administrator need to work through the client OS or server OS. Why? So basically with this course, we will be discussing what? The administration part. Administration means what? Administration means what? You need to manage. Administration means generally what? Simple word. Managing. Managing what? Your network. So to do that, you need to have what? More privileges. So who will provide you more privileges? Client OS or the server OS? So which will have more features? Server OS. Server OS will have more features. By that we can configure the server, which we can't do on client OS. So generally, server OS has been designed to manage our entire network by configuring the services according to our requirement, as well as we can implement the policies which we can't, and also it supports huge hardware server OS compared to client OS. That's why if you want to work like a, your intention is what with this course, what you want to achieve or what you want to do, what you want to do with this course, why you are doing this course, to become what, or to work like a administrator. So this course will help you in understanding the roles or the jobs as an administrator the person has to do. Okay, so we will be discussing this course for becoming like a administrator. The administrator can do what? Managing the network as per the requirement. So we will be discussing the server OS through which we can manage it. So in the server OS, do you have any idea? Like, have you heard any name? Which server OS? They have different server OS. Some number year, something like that is there. Do you have any idea? Yes, 2012 is there, like that. Before that, what was there? Yes, like somebody is mentioned here, 2008. Now also we have 16. So which server OS will be discussing? 2008 or 12 or 16? Which one? 12. So this course, which we are calling as what? MCSE. This course is called what? MCSE. Any idea about what is MCSE? Yes? Microsoft? Yes. So this course has been designed by who? This course has been designed as a module by the Microsoft. We have not designed. And with this course, once you do with this course, you can able to work like a which administrator, system or network? There are two types of administrator. What are they? System administrator and network. What will be the difference between system administrator and network administrator? Don't think like he's asking too many questions. Just I want to know before we go into the topic, what are the things you are aware about and what you are going to discuss through this course. That is my intention. Okay. Don't worry that if you ask these questions, you will go like this. Because there will be no like enforcement, you should tell compulsory the answer. Something like that. Just be involved with the sessions. Okay? You will not get any punishment if your answers are not correct or if you are not giving the answer. In the same way, don't expect any gifts or prizes. Your answers are right. No need to ask. Okay? Just sign it, no? There the sheet is. Backside sheet is there. So I was asking you what the difference between system administrator and network administrator. So through this course, which course? MCSE, along with the Linux, you can work like a network administrator or system administrator. System administrator. This course is designed to work like a system administrator. As the name indicates, system administrator means which will be managing the what? Servers and applying what? Policies. So this you will be doing through what? Operating system. To manage this, you will be using what? Operating system, either Windows or Linux. So that's why you will be called as what? If you are working on a Windows server operating system, you are called Windows administrator. If you are working on a Linux, you are called Linux administrator. But you are a system administrator. You are managing your network. Again, when we talk about network, any idea how many types of networks? We'll discuss that. But any idea before that? LAN and WAN. So this course is designed as an administrator for LAN network or WAN network? LAN network. What is the abbreviation for LAN? What about the WAN? Wide area. What is the difference between these two? So as the name indicates, local area network means with this course, we will be working like a system administrator, which will be managing a particular or a network which works in a same location, same place. That's why it's called local area network. But when you need to manage your network, which are in different location, which are in different networks, then you need to use a device called router. So when you are working on a router, when you are working on an operating system, you are called system administrator. But when you are working on a router, like you can see there, the rack, some device called routers are there. So when you work on a router, then you are called as what? Network administrator. So network administrator job is what? To manage different network which are in different geographical location. But as a system administrator, our job is what? Manage the network which is present in the same geographical location. Most of the time it will be same network. So that we will be managing with the help of what? Operating system. So we are going to start with which operating system first? Windows. And that we will be discussing the course with the name called MCSE. So this course has been designed by the Microsoft company, and MCSE stands for what? Just now somebody said abbreviation. Can you repeat? Yes, Microsoft Certified Solution Expert. So if you're done with this course, you also have what? How the people knows that you are expert in Microsoft, but that they are having what? Exam. So for this MCSE to be called yourself as what? Microsoft Certified Solution Expert, you need to write exam, which will be conducted by Microsoft, which is an online exam through the Prometic centers. So for this course, you have how many papers? 5 papers. So in that again, you have option. If you write 3 papers and you clear that 3 paper, you are called as what? MCSA. What you are called? MCSA. MCSA full form? Microsoft Certified System Administrator. It is called what? System Administrator. But when you write the total 5 papers, but compulsory you have to write 3 papers to be called as what? MCSA. Then you have option of writing 2 more papers. So in that also they are giving you liberty. If you write out of 2 paper, even 1 paper and cleared, then you are called as what? MCSC expert. And this will be valid all across the world. So our course, this MCSC will be covering these modules. And with this course, you can expect to work like a system administrator on Windows operating system. You can tell to anybody or in the company that you are a certified person. So when you are a certified person, you will get more privileges. Privileges means, if suppose I went to the interview without certification, you went. Now first preference will be given to who? It doesn't guarantee you directly they'll take you. Definitely they'll have a same procedure, written test, oral, group discussion, whatever may be the company policy. According to that, they'll filter you. But once you have been selected, if suppose 2 persons have been selected, one who's not having certificate, the other one with certificate. So company definitely give the preference to. But anyhow, you have to clear the rounds with the company according to the company policy. But you can expect the preference, as well as your salary might be a little bit higher compared to the person who is not certified. So these are some of the benefits with the certified persons. Okay, and it is valid for how many years? People will say generally what? 3 years. But within the 3 years, definitely you will get a some or the other job. So definitely if you work for bigger companies, they will tell you just update yourself. So at that time you can write some other, because Windows keeps on releasing their updating version. So you can write 1 or 2 paper, again you can make yourself update. For that they'll charge you less. Initially the charges are same, but if you are updating yourself, this will be what? Lesser. Okay. So with this course, which has been designed by the Microsoft, this has been designed on which operating system? Server or client? Server. In server also, which server operating system? 2012. So we are going to discuss our course MCSE through which operating system? Windows Server 2012. Why this means? With this, the benefit is what? Now most of the company server still might be working on either 8 or 12. 16 is there, but mostly companies prefer what? Stable one. So generally whenever new version come, people at the company never use them directly, because it will have some or the other issue to become stable. So generally it might be now, some companies might be having 2008 server also, 3 also. So if you work with 12, you can easily work on 8. as well as you can work on 16 also. Some features definitely will be there in 16, but we can able to easily work on 8 as well as 12 as well as something will be missing, but 16 also you can able to work most of it. So that's why still the certification is also there for 2012 as a MCS. So we'll be discussing our course through MCS. Okay. So I'll just repeat what is the abbreviation for MCSE. What is the abbreviation for MCSE? Microsoft Certified Solution Expert. So to call yourself expert, how many papers they are keeping? 5 papers. And what are they? Here it is mentioned with the code number. So here the code are what? 410, 11 and 12. So it is mandatory to be getting any certificate from the Microsoft. At least minimum how many papers you need to clear? 3 papers. So then you are called as what? MCSA. Microsoft Certified Solution Associate. Sorry, I said you what? I think administrator. It's what? Associate. Let me correct that. MCSA stands for what? Microsoft Certified Solution Associate. Then after that, you can be eligible to write or to become what? MCSE. So for that MCSE, again, how many papers you have? 2 papers. But at least if you clear, they are giving you that. If you clear one more paper, then so in the first paper, generally it is what? Related with installing and configuring Windows Server. With this what? Administrating means managing. Configuring what? Advanced Windows Server services. So these things we'll be discussing along with what? 2 more papers are there. What are they? 413 and out of these 2, if you write even 1, you will be eligible to get what? MCSE, which stands for what? So this MCSE is designed on which operating system? Windows. In that, which version? Server operating system, but which version? 2012. Clear? So this course is basically designed to work you as a administrator on the server side, on a server operating system. So it is also called as what? This course is also can be referred in a single word what? Infrastructure server. Means with this you can able to design or create or configure what? Servers with this course. So it is this course also can be referred as what? Infrastructure server. So with this you will get a knowledge how to configure the server. Server means what? Server means what? Which provide the services. So suppose I have 100 client or 100 machines. They need to communicate with each other. What should be there in those 100 machines? What should be present in those 100 machines so that they can communicate with each other? IP should be there, yes? So whether you will go to each machine and assign the IP address? No. What you will do then? There is a concept called a server called DHCP server. So you have to configure the DHCP server. In all 100 machines, do you configure DHCP server? No. In how many machines? Only one machine. Then in rest of the machine, you will get the IP through that server. So that's what it's called server. Server means which provides services to all your clients or all your host or all your users. Okay. So yeah. This is what we can do through the server operating system. That cannot be done through client operating system. So do you have any idea like what are the client operating system we generally use in Windows? Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 8. These are called what? Right. So can I configure DHCP server on Windows 10 or Windows 8 or Windows 7? No, we can't do. We cannot configure the servers on client OS. They are been designed to use the services. But server OS require more hardware resources. Client OS uses what? Less hardware resources. So generally, who will work on a server OS in a company? Administrator. And normal clients are user. Generally, they work with client OS. So you want to work like a normal user, a normal client, or you want to become an administrator. So you should be knowing about server, or should be have experience on how to configure the servers. So that's why this course is also called as what? Infrastructure server course. Through this, we'll able to understand how to configure the server. So now, did you got some idea? This MCSE stands for what? So if you want to be call yourself expert, is there any criteria or rule? Yes. You have what? Papers. Who will conduct these papers? How many papers? Altogether 5. But in that, they are giving us the option. If you write 3 papers, you will be called as what? MCSA. MCSA stands for? Yes. Then 2 more paper. Out of that, even if you clear 1 more paper, you will be clear. Now, so this through this MCSE course, you can say this course broadly can be divided into 3 parts. This complete module, which is related about the 4 to 5 papers, can be broadly divided into how many parts? 3 parts. So in the first part of this module, we'll be discussing what is network, how many types of networks are there, how to design our network. So this will be our first part. So during our initial first few days, we will be discussing what is network, how many types of network, how to design our network. So if you know this much of knowledge, can you work on the servers? Can you work like an administrator? This is one of the part. Your main part is what? After knowing what is network, how many types of network, how to design, what is the main part? What is the main part? Administration means what? I told many times, administration means what? Managing. So now you need to manage what? Entire network, all your users, all your clients. Then how do you manage it? So you want your like managing should be complicated or simple. Whoever is working want complex work or easy work. First of all, you tell me. Everybody, human nature is what? They want to do their work in a simple way, or they want their work to be done in a simple way. So now, suppose you have many clients. Now you have to manage every day them. So which will be the easiest option for you as an administrator? Going to each machine and looking after all the machine from one place, from one machine. Tell me which option is better. So as an administrator, you want to go to each machine and manage from there, or you want to manage all the machines from sitting from one machine and doing it. Which one is a better option? So if you want to, can you manage all your users or all your machine from sitting from one machine? It is possible or it is not possible? Tell me, possible or not possible? Possible. But that what you have to do? What you have to do? Managing means you want to manage in a easy way. So to manage easy way, what you have to do? You have to not go to each machine. You have to do it from one machine to every. You want to do control all machine by sitting from one machine. So how it is possible? You said it can be done. So now I'm asking how it is possible. Can it be done? First of all, can it be done? Yes. So how to do it? So for that there is a word called centralization. What you have to do to manage the things? Centralization. What do you mean by centralization? You need to make your network centralized. Means you want to control all your machines, all your system by sitting from a single machine. That can be possible, yes. But that what you have to do? You have to make your network centralized. Suppose 100 users are there. So will you go to 100 user and create the user account? Who can create the user account? Admin. So I join your company. You are the administrator. Can I create my own account and start working on any machine? No. So in the company, who will create the account? Administrator. So now imagine you are an administrator and 100 people are working. So will you go to each 100 machine and create the account? You will create the account from single machine, and that user can log in from any machine. Every day they will go to same machine, or they can log in from any machine. How it is possible? Through centralization. So administrator need to make centralization, or automatically it will become centralized. Are you understanding? Now we got to know that centralization is easy. Oh, sorry, centralization is good if you want to do the work in an easy way. But the question is, can the centralization happens automatically, or admin has to do it? Nothing will become centralized by itself. So who has to make your network centralized? So what he has to do for that? Make the network centralized. What he has done. So that is what we are going to discuss in our second part of our course. Means physically we are not dividing the course like this. Some days, first few days we will be discussing first part as what? What is network? How many type of network? How to design the network? The second part we will be discussing how to make our network centralized so that our management becomes easier. So it has to be done. Centralization, yes. How it can be done? Tell me. Any idea? Centralization will be done like through using the operating system, or as an administrator you need to do some physical thing. What you have to do, physically or logically? Physically, what you have to do, make that network by connecting through a common switch. So that network will be created. But how do you make it centralized now, the network? We have to use some service to make our network centralized. Any idea which service will make, through which service will make a network centralized? Our main part of our course is what? Centralization. So to do your network centralized in Windows, they give one service. That is the main core or topic of our course. What is the service through which will make our network centralized? Tell me. Any idea, online students also? Through which service you will make your network centralized? Yes, the device need to be connected physically first. So how do you connect them physically? Through what? Switch. Have you heard about the switch? Then physically cables you are connected. It is enough to make centralized? No. After this, you need to use one service. Which service? DHCP is what? To assign the IP address, but your network will not become centralized. So our main topic of this course is what? Centralization. And centralization is done by using one service which this server operating system will provide. This service won't be there in the client OS. This will be there only in the server OS. So I can tell you the service name directly, but I want the name from you so that you will not forget. If you don't get name, I'll tell you anyhow. But just try. Any idea? What is the service through which we will do our network centralized or make our network centralized? No idea? Can I tell you? No. Virtualization is different. Virtualization is a technology through which you will install different OS in a single machine or physical machine. You can. So we'll do our network centralized in Windows operating system, server operating system through a service called ADDS. What is the service name? ADDS. ADDS stands for ADDS. ADDS stands for? It stands for what? So to make your network centralized, we need a service. That service name is what?
Active Directory Domain Services, right?
The service name is what? ADDS. ADDS stands for, A stands for what? Active. D stands for what? Active Directory. Then D, domain service. So the main focus of our course, that is this service. Why? Because with the help of this service only, what we can achieve? Centralization. Centralization of the network is done by using a service which will be present in the server OS, not in the client OS. So who designed this service? Microsoft, through their operating system, server operating system. So this service makes our network centralized. So if I want to use this machine to control all these machines, so what should I do in this machine? I need to install a service called, so we will be discussing how to install this service. Then installing is not enough. After installing, what we have to do to make this network centralized through this service? That only who can do? Administrator. So we need to log in as a which user? Administrator. Then only we will have privileges. So with the help of this service, we will make our network centralized. How to do it? How to install? How to make our network centralized? We'll discuss that in our course. So our first part will be what? Network. What is network? Type of network. How to design the network. Second part becomes what? To manage our network, we need to make our network centralized. So in the second part of our network, we'll be discussing what? How to make our network centralized by using a service called. So once you install this service, we can make our domain. Domain means what? Domain service it is. Domain means what? It is a logical administrative boundary. It is not a physical boundary. Logical administrative boundary will be created, and all these machines or all these your devices will work within that particular domain with a common name. Like we are all called what? Indians. Why? Because we are in a particular boundary, our map country. So those people who are within this or belong to this country, they are called Indians. The same way, a particular domain, once it is created, who are working with a common domain name, then those are called what? Domain means collection of computers or users which are working with a common name under a common boundary, logical administrative boundary. So once you create that, centralization will happen. So through that, we can control now. Now, I need to create 100 accounts. So where I'll create? In this machine where I create a user, then it is called domain user. What do you mean by domain user? Any user can log in from anywhere within our network, not outside the network. If you don't use this, then we have to create all users account in all machines. And now, creating the user account is done. Now, company said that I need out of 100 user, 50 user read permission for 50 user for a particular file. Now, how many times you will do that giving the permission for 50 users? You have to give 50 user for a particular file XYZ read permission. So how you will do now? Tell me. Now suppose example, you have to send one message to your 50 friends. What you will do now? Will you send individually one person, one friend, one message, same message? Same message you have to send to 50 person, your friends. What you will do? Huh? Yeah, that's what the concept here. So once you create a user, if you need to give same permission to multiple user, so what you will do? You have to create a group like you are doing in WhatsApp. So suppose you have to send same message to 20, 30 people. If you do individually, you have to do that many times. So what you will do? Create a group, add those users who need to get same message or same permission into a group. Then apply that permission or that message on the group. Everybody who are part of that group will get that same concept. So if you want to give same permission to multiple user, what you need to create? Group. So we'll be discussing how to create a group, how to add the users into that, so that our management becomes easier. Then creating users, group, domain users, it's enough? No. What you have to do as an administrator, control the users, provide the security to your data, company data. How do you do that? Security to your data, of the company data. How do you make sure the company data remains safe and secure? As an administrator, what you will do? We have to give what? We have to apply what? Permissions. So we'll be discussing how to make our network secure by giving the or applying the permission as per our requirement. So the user should share the resources or not? Should share. Otherwise, we have to give them the data for each of them data to each machine. That is not possible. Network is created for what? Sharing. But when they do share our resources, but they should not be in a position to do any. Administrator will apply what? Security with the help of what? Permissions. So we'll be discussing how to apply permission, how many types of permission we can apply. So when the users write the data, any administrator main job is what? Need to make sure that company data is not lost. When the user is working in the company, they will do what? They'll generate the data for the company. So any company you work, the main focus of your administrator is what? The company data should not be lost. So what you will do to prevent the data loss of the company? You have to take the backup. The 100 users are writing in 100 machine. Will you take the backup by going to each machine? Then what you will do? You will apply what? Profile. You will apply profile, personal setting. So when the user write the data on their machine, the data should come to your server machine. How it will be possible? That also we will discuss. So that backup becomes easier. So to manage our network, to make easy, we will have to do the centralization. After centralization, we'll create centralized users. We'll create group. Then to provide the security, we'll create what? We'll apply permission. But as an administrator, we need to take the backup. So we'll not go to each machine. So to make taking the backup easier and the data of the user should be also secure. So for that, administrator will apply what? Profiles, personal settings, so that the data comes to a particular machine. So that also we will be discussing. If any user waste any space of the company hard disk, we can apply the restriction using one service called FSRM, File Server Resource Management. That also we will discuss. So all these things comes under what? Managing. So to manage your network, first you have to make your network centralized. Then we can apply the domain policies, like we can create the users from one machine. We can create the group so that same permission can be applied. At the same time, we can provide the security to user data as well as company data by applying policies. And to make sure the company data remain in a safe place or in a one place, so that backup become easier, we can have the profiles. We'll see that also. If any wastage has been done, but that also we have a solution. We can apply some service like FSRM on the users. And when you work, definitely will come across what the company or the proprietor or the management want certain policies to be applied to the users while they are working. So that policies you can apply to all users, not going to each machine. You can do from your server machine. So to apply the company policies as per their requirement, we administrator can apply group policy. So like particular department, particular section should not have access to particular thing. Or particular department should have access to particular thing. So all those things you can do by applying what? Group policies. So we'll be also discussing what? How to apply the requirement of the company to the users by using group policies. So this will be our second and major part, centralization and managing. That has been done through this service, Active Directory Domain Service. Then finally, we'll go to the last part of our course. That is, your administration part is never completed. System administrator part, unless until you don't know how to configure servers. So in the last part, we will be discussing how to configure what? Servers. Along with, we'll also discuss how to take the backup. So we'll be discussing certain basic fundamental services without which the network will never function. Like you said, one of the service required in the network, what? Which server you required in the network? DSCP. Then we will be also discussing a service called, if you want to access anything by name, what service should be present in the network? DNS. We will be discussing DNS. And nowadays, everything is being done. Online purchasing or your information you are putting on the internet with the help of a what? Hosting our information. That is called web server. So that we will be discussing a service which the Windows Microsoft server provide Microsoft people are providing a service called IIS. So we'll discuss also service called IIS. Now, when you start any new company, 100 new machines are there. They comes with the OS. So if you want to use that machine, OS has to be installed. So 100 machine are there new. In 100 machine, you have to install the OS. So will you go to each machine and install the OS individually? No. We have a service called WDS. So by sitting from one machine, you can deploy the OS into the machines. That service is called WDS. That also we'll be discussing in our course. WDS stands for what? Windows Deployment Service. Don't worry, just I'm giving the overview. What are the things we are going to discuss through this course? So that you will have overview what we are going to learn through this 3 weeks. Okay. Along with that, we will be also discussing how to manage our hard disk, how to maintain the backup of the hard disk. So what that RAID is there, we have to know how to create partition. Those things we will be discussing under storage management, the last part. And also when you want to work from any place, some employees might be working from home. How it is possible? But that admin has to configure which service in the network, which service is used to log in remotely from home to the company. Some people you might have heard, I'm working from home today. So how it is possible? But that one service is needed. What service? Yes. VPN. Have you heard about the VPN? So that also we will be discussing. Virtual private network. We'll access our private network through public IP, that is internet. That also we'll be discussing. So this is overall our course content during the 3 weeks. So did you got some idea now what we are going to discuss through these 3 weeks? Or you got bored? So just I mentioned here some of the topics or what we are going to discuss through these 3 weeks. Just an overview through this MCSE, which will be like about the 3 part. First part will be what is network, how many types of network, how to design it. Second part is what? Managing the network. In that, we'll be discussing how to make our network centralized, how to create the user account, group, OU, then how to make security and sharing by using the permission as well as the profiles, and how to apply the policies of the company through group policy, how to take the backup. All these things we'll be discussing. And in the last part, we'll be discussing how to configure certain important servers like DSCP, DNS, WDS, IIS. You know hypervisor. What is hypervisor? Like somebody said, virtualization. Virtualization means what? Installing different OS in a single machine. That is possible through using some application. So most of the people are using which application? Third-party tool. VirtualBox is from Oracle, but mostly people are using what? VMware. Have you heard about that? So same way, the Microsoft people are giving inbuilt application called hypervisor through which we can install different OS. So Hypervisor is the application through which we can achieve virtualization, installing different OS in a single physical machine. So that also will be discussed. So these are the main content of our course. Up to this, did you got some idea or it went like a bouncer? Got some idea? So today we'll start with what? Designing of network will directly will not go. First we'll see starting with what? What is network? How many types of networks? Then we'll see how to design. Not today itself. Today we'll just discuss what is meant by network. How many types of networks? How to design it? We'll slowly go to that. Okay. Can I go to the next topic? That is what? Okay. And whatever I'll be showing you on the slide, you can have the option of purchasing the hard copies available with the front office. Two books are there, one for lab, one for theory part. It is optional, not mandatory. And whatever slides you will be seeing through this course, it's also available through our app. You can download our app Zoom Technologies. Through that, you cannot download, but you can able to have what the option of seeing here the slides. Online students also, you can use our app Zoom Technologies and you can see the slides which I'm going to show you through that app also. Can I go to the next point? See, if you don't want to write, there is no. I'll suggest you whichever point you want to write it. If you don't want to write, but you feel that this I should have means, you can take a photo from your mobile also. Can I go to the next point? So today we'll start with what? What is meant by network. So did you got some idea what are the code for the certification? So Microsoft codes, this MCSE is the endpoint or the starting point? It is a starting point, first point. So apart from this, they are having so many other courses. They have so many other courses like uh, what is cloud? See, we can use the services or store our data to the internet. So now slowly but surely everything is getting to the cloud. So you know any service provider who provides you the cloud services? Yes. Anybody knows any name cloud services? Most of the people are using which cloud? Google Cloud. Any other name? Yeah, some person written. Amazon, AWS. Have you heard about the AWS? Ah. So same way, the Windows also have their own cloud. What is the name of that? Yes, anybody? What is the name of that? Azure. Have you heard about the Azure? So if you want to understand the Azure, this is the first point. If you don't know this and directly if you go to the Azure, you may not understand most of the things. So it is a foundation or basics before you go to the other courses. Like here, it has been shown here. So this is our server infrastructure course. I told you already, MCSA is what? Sorry, MCSE is a what? Server infrastructure course. So after this, you can go to the higher technologies like virtualization, cloud, security. So in Windows also there are many platforms, private cloud with the name what? Azure. Even you have security, communication, messaging. Messaging means what? The Windows have their own exchange server through which you can exchange the mails. So all this there, a very big ocean, Microsoft. So in that, what is the foundation that we are starting? If you want to go to the higher platform, this is a mandatory. You should have good idea about the base. That is the base is what? Operating system. Okay. So can we start? So today we'll start with which topic, which point first? Network. So tell me, what do you mean by network? How do you define a network now? What is meant by network according to you? Yes. So in a simple word, you can say interconnection of a devices. So collection of hardware and software is a definition for system or computer. But what is the definition for network? So when you work in a company, any company, small or big, do you need to manage one machine or more than one machine? So that's why it is called. If you want to manage, they need to be connected. So interconnection of devices is called as what? Network. So you can see the definition of network. Interconnection of devices is called as what? Network. Why the network is created? For, for what? Why this device? Yeah, why they have been connected to each other? Sharing. Network is created for what purpose? For sharing what? Resources. In resources, what will come? Resources means printer, any DVD, any external drive. We will share our resources along with what? Data and services. In first purpose is what? Sharing of data, then services, then resources. So can we share without creating a network? So network is created. Network is a connection, interconnection of devices for sharing the resources, data and services. So if I connect the devices, will they communicate by default? Interconnect. I connected the devices. Will they communicate with each other? No. So when network is there, you need to make what? Communication between those devices. So how do you enable the communication between those devices? So that is called networking. Network means what? Interconnection of devices. What do you mean by networking? Enabling the communication between these devices which you are connected or sharing the data, services and resources. Now you tell me, how do you make communication between devices? Whether it is a 2 or 200, how do you make it? One answer I got it. By configuring what? Yes, you should say what? Not configuring. You should say what? Assigning. By assigning what? IP address. So now if I assign the IP address, will it communicate? So you should tell in a proper order. Whenever you want the communication between devices, two things you require. What are they? Whenever you want the devices to communicate, two things you require. What are they? Physical connectivity and logical connectivity. What you require? Physical connectivity and logical connectivity. So whenever you want your devices to communicate with each other, you require two types of connection. What are they? What are they? Physical connectivity and logical. So how do you provide the physical connectivity? Tell me. If you want your devices to communicate, You need what? Communication. So how do you communicate? So for enabling the communication between the devices, to enable the communication between devices, you require two types of connectivity. What are they? For communication purpose, two types of connectivity are required. What are they?
Physical and logical.
Physical,
Logical.
physical connectivity
Logical connectivity.
and logical connectivity. How do you provide the physical connectivity now?
By using media.
How do you provide the physical connectivity? Just tell me. How do you provide the physical connectivity? So I was telling you first physical connectivity and what is the second one? Logical, logical connectivity. So how do you provide the physical connectivity? That was my question. Yes, physical connectivity is being provided by using what? Media. That is called what? Media. In media, there are two types. That is called guided and unguided. What do you mean by guided? Yes. When you use the connection by using some physical things like cables, then it is called guided. Unguided means what? Example? Wi-Fi. And logical connectivity is provided by using what? IP address. Now, my doubt is, out of these two connectivity, which one is more important or which one is more essential? Physical or logical? All of you think logical? My question I'll repeat once again. Out of these two connectivity, which one is more important? Physical or logical? So I can see here some answers physical, some answers logical. Let me check in the online student. One person very smart is saying both. So now you have to choose between these two, physical and logical. Which one you will tell now? Physical or the question is which one is more important? Physical or logical? Tell me which one is more important, physical or logical? The correct answer is what? Both, which the online students have written. Because I'll tell you, if IP you are assigned, but there is no Wi-Fi or no cable, you check, will they communicate? Now you provide the connectivity, but don't assign the IP, will they communicate? So just to confuse you, somebody may ask you like this. So when you know your answer, don't change it. Somebody said first both, but when I stressed which one is more important, then you started changing your answer. So which one is correct answer? Both. But just like simple example, non-technical. If you are a normal person, you are walking normally. Which leg you will use more, right or left? Left or both? Same way, without this both, they cannot communicate. Without both our leg, we can't walk normally. So if one of them is missing, the communication will not happen. If you provide only one connectivity, physical or logical, it will never communicate. Devices will never communicate. So to have the communication between devices, you require how many types of connectivity? Two types. What are they? Physical and logical. Which is more important? Both are equally important. Yeah. So now you know what is the definition of network. Tell me definition of network. Interconnection of devices is called as network. So network is created for what purpose? Sharing the resources or services or data. For that, what you have to do? Enable the communication. So enabling the communication is called as what? Networking. But to enable the communication between devices, what you require? Two types of connectivity. What are they? Physical and logical. Understood up to this? Can I go to the next point? Next point. Have you heard about types of networks? Have you heard about the network? How many types of networks you heard? Tell me. Somebody written four. What are they? LAN, yes. LAN, LAN. LAN is not a network. It is what? It is used to assign, apply what? Hard disk remotely. So the types of networks are broadly three types. But now we are calling only two types. Theoretically, three types it is written, but nowadays practically we use only two types, LAN and WAN. So first, previously means now the internet becomes cheaper and popular. But previously they used to use what also? LAN. So first we'll discuss what? LAN. LAN means what? Local area network. Means why it is called LAN? When your devices, all your devices are kept in a same geographical location, which is present in a same geographical location, then that is called LAN. What do you mean by MAN? MAN full form? Now this is not in the usage now because the internet become popular. Before the internet become popular, or when the internet was very expensive, at that time companies used to use what? Man. Man means what? Some of your devices are in one location and some of them in some other location, but within the radius of 30 kilometer. Suppose this is Amirpet. Some of your devices might be in Secunderabad. So they used to take one physical cable from this office to that office. Because if you take the internet, it will be very costly. So they used to spend one-time money. They used to have physical connectivity from this one cable from there to there. So that is used to be called as what? Metropolitan area network. But nowadays, you are having even 10-kilometer distance means do you purchase one 10-kilometer wire and put it? You will keep internet here and there. You will access the internet. And the other one is what? WAN. But practically speaking now, people will say are what? Working on only two networks, either LAN or WAN. WAN become very, very less. Maybe it's not there in the usage now. So what is mean by WAN? Wide area network. As the name indicates, some of your branches or might be the devices in one location, another anywhere. There is no limit, 30 kilometer, 40 like this. No limit. It can be in other state, it can be in other country, it can be in other continent also. So then that is called what? So we are going to discuss our course LAN through operating system, and to manage your different devices to different network, then you should use a router. That you will discuss through the CCN. Understood? So our focus will be what? Out of this network, which network we are going to focus in our course? LAN or WAN? WAN. In CCNA? Understood now? Now, if you want to work in any network, either LAN, WAN or WAN, what are the devices you need? So I'll give you the hint. 5 things you need to create or to configure the network. What are those 5 things? You tell me. Whenever you want to create any network, either LAN, MAN, or WAN, I give you the hint. You need 5 things. What are those 5 things? You tell me. So you tell me the things, I'll write it. So here, whatever we discuss, the diagram. So all the devices are in same building or same location. It is called LAN. But now something is there in one place, something is another place. Then you need to have your own lease line from the service provider or your own thing you can purchase. This is called MAN. But now WAN. Some office is there in some place and some other in some other place. Here example India and US. So how do you get connected to this different network through different geographical location? Router. Through the WAN. So now when you want to create any network, you need how many things or how many devices or how many things you need to create any network, LAN, MAN or WAN. I gave you the hint. Now tell me the 5 names. What are the 5 things you need to design or to configure or create your network? Yes, tell me. I'll write it. What are the 5 things you needed or required to create a network or to design a network? To create any network, either it is a LAN, WAN, MAN, you need 5 things. What are they? First, yes, tell me what you require. First, you required what? Can you work without? Can you work without the computers or the machines? First, you required what? Computers. So one thing is covered. Now tell me. Second, systems are there. Now what you have to do? System is there. Second thing, what you need? You need what? Media. Media can be two types. What are they? Guided and unguided. Example for guided, cables, and for this, Wi-Fi. Now systems are there, media is there. Now what you need more? So yes, if you want to create a network, you should have network connecting, network connecting devices. Tell me the example of network connecting there. Example for network. If you want to create a network or connect the devices in network, you require something like hub, switch, or router. Then what else? Physical connectivity is there. Logical is there? No. So you need to also what? Logical connectivity. So logical connectivity is provided by using what? IP address. Now, how many things over to create or design any network? Systems you require, media you require, network connecting devices you require. What else you required? IP address. Now fourth thing, one last thing. Now tell me what else you require. Either you work in LAN, MAN, WAN. One more thing you require. Tell me. IP is over now. Huh? You will use that. That vendors will give you. Now you are working in a new company, new setup company. They told you you are an administrator. What are the things we require? You give a list, we'll purchase. So you're given like this. Anything else is missing? Yes. What is missing? So if you want to work on all this, what you need? Yes, somebody is saying correctly, but not confidently. Yes. We are talking about devices. Human beings are not devices. So these are the 5 things you require compulsory when you want to work in any design or work or create any network, either LAN, WAN, or MAC. These are the 5 essential things you require. What are they? System, media, network connecting devices, logical connectivity, operating. Even in the router, operating system will be there. Now I'm using the machines. Machine is the most important part. So can you work any machine without any OS? Compulsory you need to have what? OS. Either it is a client machine or the employee's machine or the server machine. You need OS. So these are the 5 basic fundamental things are required to create or configure any network. So I think definition of system. I don't have to explain you. System means what? Computer. How to define a computer? Computer is what? Combination of hardware and software. Media, So first, second thing not needed to be explained. Third thing will start. What is the third thing? Network connecting device. So for that, have what? Some devices to create or design to put your devices together. You need some network connecting devices like what you need? Hub, switch, or router. Is there any difference between these 3 things? Yes. What is the difference? So we'll discuss that. So can I go for the first one? Hub. Now, can I go to the next page? Now tell me, I have 2 machines. How many machines I have? I'm working in a small company, so they have only 2 machines. Now the company said they should communicate with each other. The company at the small shop or anything you say, they told you are the person who is handling these 2 machines. They told they should communicate with each other. What you will do now? Tell me. 2 machines are there. The condition they put it, they should communicate with each other. What? Also, some operating system has to be installed. Operating system is installed. Yes, in both machines. Now, here you are given some IP. Any IP. This should be in the same network. So this should be what? IP. Now, what you will do now? Do you need to purchase router, hub, or switch? Yes. 2 machines means no need to purchase network connecting device. So every machine will have what? LAN card, port, NIC card. So that contain what? The port. You take one cable. Now, can they communicate with each other? So now you require any network connecting device. But now the company is growing. Now they have 4 machines instead of 2 machines. How many machines they have now? 4 machines. Now you are an administrator. How do you connect the 4 machines now? Every machine can have more than one LAN card. It's possible or not? How many machines they have? 4. Now the requirement is what? They should communicate with each other. Now what you will do? Tell me. Only one thing they told you. They should communicate with each other. What you will do now? Every machine is installed with some OS. OS. OS is there. Some IP is there. This is 10.1. This is 10.2. 10.3. 10.4. Now I'm calling this as a what? System 1. This I'm calling system 2. This I'm calling system 3. This I'm calling system 4. Now the company said they should communicate with each other. Or the owner of this said you should make sure that they should communicate with each other. What you do now? Now can these devices connected to each other? I can connect like this to this, but this to this. But the condition, all of them should communicate with each other. So now can we connect directly? If it is 2 machine, we can connect. But if it is 3 or more than 2, can we connect? No. At that time, compulsory you required what? Network connecting device. What you required? Network connecting device. So that network connecting device can be either hub or switch. So first, I'll take the example of what? Hub. So this is an example hub. Now it will have the port. So this machine, this machine, all is connected to the hub. It will have the ports connected. Now system 1 want to communicate with what? System 3 or system 2, any machine. What will happen now? Directly it will go there, or it will request will come to hub. Request come to the hub because you are connected through this. So now system 1 to communicate with system 3. The request has to come to hub. So what the hub will do? It will do what? It will broadcast. What is the term? It will broadcast this request to everybody, including from where the request came to that it will send. So when this thing happen, means what? It will take more time because it is sending to everybody, including from where the request came. Next time again, system 1 want to communicate with system 3. Again, same process happens. So with this, pollution will take place of the packets, and the network will be very slow, even for 4 or 5 machines. If it is imagine 20 or 40 or 100 machines, then very, very slow, because it always does what? Broadcast. So nowadays, are you using anywhere hub? It is called non-intelligent device because it takes every time do the broadcasting, so that it will take lot of time. So collision will take place and the network will become very, very slow. As the more machines are there, or more the larger size, more disadvantages with the hub. So to overcome this problem, what is the solution? Replace the hub with what? What the switch will do? First time flooding means from where the request came, it will know the packet. Packet contain what? Its IP address along with MAC address. So switch maintain MAC table, MAC address table. So it will note down from where the table, from where the request came. So it will not send that request back to the machine from where the request came, because it knows it will not send the request to itself. The first machine is ruled out. First option. So it will do flooding because it does not know who is system 3. It will send that message to everybody. Now from where it will say system 2 said I'm not a system 2. It got a reply. It will note down the MAC table in its MAC table what? The MAC address of system 2. Then system 4 says also I'm not the system 2 or 3. So it will note down the MAC address of that. Now the system 3 says I'm the system 3. It's MAC address. So now it noted down the MAC address of all the devices. Now it will send the request to system 3. Next time now system 1 want to communicate with system 4. Now it will not do the flooding. Directly it will see in the MAC table who is the system 4. Directly it will send it. So the network becomes very faster compared to that. With the help of what? MAC table. So that's why you will not find nowadays any hub. But in the interviews they may ask you. So that's why people are telling you still about the hub. Did you understood the difference? Now in which scenario you will use the router? Now so suppose this is 10.1, this is 11.2, this is 12.3, this is 14.4. Now these all machines are in different network. Then they will not communicate with the help of switch. You need what? When you need to communicate between different network which are in different locations, then you go for route. Did you understand the basic thing between? Yes, the same thing is there in the slide. So where do you assign the IP address? On the NIC card. NIC card full form. It is called what? Network interface card. And MAC address full form? The access control. It is what? Physical address it is called. On NIC, we will assign IP address that is called logical, which can be changed or which can be given as per our requirement. But MAC address will be given by the vendor. It cannot be changed. It is called physical address, fixed address, permanent address, which cannot be changed. It is basically in a what? How many bits it will have? That is divided into how many bits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. MAC address is different. IP address is different. Remember. It's done. Which one? Between NIC is what? A interface card on which our logical address, that is the IP address, will be assigned. But every LAN card will carry one physical address which will be given by the vendor, which cannot be changed. Assigned as per our requirement. But physical address which the vendor given will cannot be changed. Can I go to the next point? Yes. So hub is what? A network connecting device which will help to connect with other device. But what it will do? Always broadcast. So with this, the network will be very slow because the collision takes place, because it sends the request every time for broadcast, including to the machine from where the request came. Like hub switch also is a network connecting device, but what it will do? It will never do the broadcasting, flooding. But every time it will not do. Once it gets known about the all the clients in there, mention their MAC table in their MAC address table. With the help of that, it identifies and send the request to that. So the network becomes fast. But the switch cannot help in communication between different networks. But that another device is designed or built that is called router. So when you want to communicate between different networks which are in different geographical locations, then you need to use what? Router. So these are called network connecting devices which are being used in as per our requirement. You want your network to be slow, nobody want that, but less budget and less machines are there, then you can go for hub. But if your machines are more or you want faster, compulsory switch. But if you are working in two different geographical location, in two different branches, communication should be there. Then compulsory you need to maintain what? You got some idea now? Which help to connect the devices and it will ensure the communication between same network only, not different. If it is different network, communication has to be done, then you need to use what? that I'll tell you what is meant by same network. Tomorrow we'll discuss. No idea about network, IP address. Now I use 10.1 one IP. If it is 10.2 means they are in same network. But I said one is 10 dot, one is 11 dot. That we'll discuss tomorrow. Today just remember same network means you should know about IP address and classes, network bits and host bits. That we'll discuss tomorrow. Can I move to the next slide? Yes. Till now, what we have discussed, do you understood? Anybody? Nobody understood. What we discussed, just overview. Okay. First, we started with what? MCSE definition. What is MCSE? How many papers? Then we discuss what is this course content. Logically, we can have divided it into three parts. First, designing of network, centralization, that how to make our network centralized, then how to apply policies, security, profile, all those things, along with how to configure server. Then I said, what is network? What is networking? How many types of networks? Design any type of network. What are the five things? Tell me what are the five things you needed to design the network? Yes. Yes. Operating. First two things everybody knows. What is system? What is media? So we started with what? Network connecting devices. In this, we discuss what is the difference between hub. In which scenario you will use what? Now the fourth thing is what? IP address. So that we will discuss tomorrow. Along with what? Operating system. But today, now we will continue with what? What is the features of? We are discussing which operating system. Windows, which one? Which version? What are its features? We'll see that. Then last we'll see how to install it today. So you know this. Hub will do what? Broadcast. Broadcast means it will send to everybody. But what the switch will do? Flooding. It will not send to itself. Others it will send first time. Next, it will maintain that it's everybody MAC cable in its MAC chip. MAC address in its MAC. When you want communication between different networks, so with this we have done with what? The basic things. The other two remaining things, that is IP address and operating system, will discuss tomorrow. Now we'll move with what? Server operating system history. So Windows first server operating system was released by Microsoft in 1993 with what name? Windows NT. NT means what? New technology. NT means what? New technology. In which year? 1993. Then came NT 3.5, released in 94. Then 96, they released 4.0. Now, from 2000 onwards, they stopped using the name NT. Now, instead of that, they are saying what? The Windows Server. Which year they are releasing? That year. So they released in 2000. So that OS was called Windows Server 2000. Then came in 2003. So that is referred now as what? Windows Server 2003, which is based on what? .NET. Earlier it was what? On DOS. Then 2008 they released. Now that is referred as what? Windows 2008 Server Operating System. And they released in 12, which is called Windows Server 2012 Operating System. In 16 they released, it is not given. Even in 19 they have. Mostly people are working with either 16 or 12 mostly. Next point is what? What are the features of 2012 server operating? Can I go to the next one? 2012 features of 2012 server operating system. This machine, sorry, this operating system is what? 64-bit operating system. Means this has been designed using how many memory? 64-bit memory. So previously, OS used to be 32 bits. So which will be better, 32-bit OS or 64? 64-bit will do the process more because it uses 64-bit at same time. So 2008 was there with 32 as well as 64, but now they made compulsory, completely easy installation. Cloud support is also there. So previously, whenever you want to install any application, where you have to go? Control panel. But now they have given one different separate console, which is called customized dashboard or server manager console. Through that, we can install any application and remove it without going to control panel. Control panel is also there, but to make it easier, they given one console which is called dashboard or server manager console. And now they have given their OS installation can be done on server core and full. Server core means what? Text. When you install the server core OS means you can work only in text mode, means without mouse, only through the keyboard. And you can also you install full. Full means what? GUI, graphical user interface. You will get it. Both options they have given. Now they introduced this Active Directory from 2000 only, but previously it used to be called Active Directory Service. Now they are calling Active Directory Domain Service. So they have added certain new features like recycle beam. In the domain service earlier also there, but they added one recycle beam for Active Directory. Means in the Active Directory, if you have deleted anything, where it will be stored? In Active Directory recycle beam. Because the most important part of our course is what? Active Directory. So these are the some of the features they added in 2012. Somebody is asking what will be the topic for tomorrow. Tomorrow means you understand. Tomorrow is Sunday. Sunday will be no classes. So when I said tomorrow, you please make understand that tomorrow means next working day. That will be Monday. There will be no session on Sunday. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. Can I go to next slide? Yes. Anyone is writing, or can I go to next? Fourth point is what? They introduced what? Active Directory from 2000. But they introduced in 2012 one new thing that is called Active Directory Recycle Bin. So generally in Recycle Bin, what happens whenever we delete anything that it stores there? Improved server management. So I said previously, whenever we want to install any application or remove application, we have to go to where? Control panel. But now they have given a separate console which is called dashboard or server manager console. From that, we can add and remove the application without going to the control. Next. Only online students, you have this option. Offline student, if you miss any class, you will have a backup. Or next batch, you can come and attend. As for the online students are there, if you miss any class, that same session, online recording will be there. So that will be sent to you by Priya. You can just request her. I think you know her mail ID. So she will send you the recording. Now I'm going to the next point. See, online, she's contacting you, Priya@zoomgroup.com, something, her mail ID. So you got a request for this session from her only, no? Yes. That was the official mail ID. So now another features are what? To apply the group policy, they introduced what? GPM console, group policy management console. And we can able to deploy the application also from one machine to all other machine. Centralized deployment of application. And if some user is wasting the hard disk of the server, we can apply disk quota, means we can allocate certain space of the hard disk size to that user. And sharing, we will use what? Share folder. So for different department, we can create a single share folder. Then we will also take what? The backup of our machine or folder or drive by using one service called Windows Server Backup. Then we will also having what? DNS backup server. And to host the website, IIS service. And they also given us what? Inbuilt application for virtualization with a service called hypervisor. Inbuilt application. So these are the features you have in 2012 operating. So with this, we left with the last topic for today. What is that? How to install this 2012 server operating. It's very simple. If you know how to install either the client version Windows 7 or 8 or 10, same steps are there for installing the 2012 also. But it is my duty to show you. I'll show you. So in the lab, you have what? VMware. To the VMware to install what? The OS if you want. I'll show you also on VMware. It's very simple. So in the VMware, what you have to do to install any OS? First, you need to create one virtual machine. Then on that virtual machine, you can install any OS. But as for today requirement, which OS we need to install? 2012 server operating. So those people who want to practice at home in your personal laptop or desktop, you give us the pen drive of 8 GB. We'll give you what? The VMware along with 2012 server ISO image. And the online student, you please go to the official website of the Microsoft. You will get free of cost the what? The 2012 server operating system. Freely it is available. You need to download it. And for offline students, we have in here ISO image. You can give us the pen drive, we'll give you. So can I start with the last topic for today? What is that? How to install the 2012 server operating system. Yes, can I go to that? Tell me yes, no. Okay. Now, these are the requirement. Before you go for that, you just note down the requirement. So, to install 2012 server, the hardware requirement are this. Your processor should be with a speed of 1.4 gigahertz. And this will not support 2012 server operating system will not get installed if your Minimum it required dual core. Pentium series will not be supporting. And how much RAM you require? And previously in the old hardware, you have to check virtualization support is there or not. But nowadays, all machines are coming latest with what? Virtualization support. So mostly which processor you will have in our machines? Only two brands are more famous. One is what? The other one is, so you can go to while purchasing the machine, or if you have the old one, you can check like this. Go to the taskbar, right click properties. So if it is an Intel processor, it will show what? VT means virtualization technology is there. So that processor will support the virtualization. If it is AMD processor, it will show what? V. V means virtualization support is there. Then minimum RAM required is what? 512 for server operating system. Maximum it will support how much? 4 TB. So in the real-time environment in big companies, RAM will be not 4 GB or 8 GB. It will be TB. Server OS will support this, but client OS will not support same. Less hardware it will support. But recommended for lab purpose is what? Your personal machine, how much RAM? At least 1 GB. 512 is very, very slow. So recommended is what? Minimum 1 GB. And space, hard disk space, minimum 10 GB. Recommended here 80 it is given. But if you want to do practice, even 30 to 40 GB is sufficient. And nowadays you don't require any DVD because you are using ISO image. So these are the requirements. So can I start with the installation? So installation is very simple, and I think you will not find any difficulty in installing this OS. So can I begin with the installation? So let us see here. I already installed what? VMware. So first I need to create what? One virtual machine. You know how to create virtual machine? Anyhow, I'll show you how to create the virtual machine. I'm not starting straight away the installation. First, I'll show you how to create a virtual machine. So the VMware, once you install, you'll get an icon. So double click on the VMware icon. So it will show like this. So now you have to first create a new virtual machine. So how do you create it? Click on what? Create a new virtual machine. Then it will show you this two options, typical or custom. You go with what? Typical. Custom means what? There you will get the option to give your RAM size. So typical means it will take 1 GB. The third one, which is the one? Third one. I will install the operating system later. Three options are there. Generally the highlighted will be what? Second, but better option you select is what? Third. What is the third option? So remember, this is I'm not installing the 2012 server. I'm just creating a machine, virtual machine to install the OS. So up to this clear? What I did today now, just open it, went to the typical, next. Then here selected this option, then next. Now here it will be what? Microsoft. If it is some other OS, you select like this. So here you are installing client OS or server OS. So here it will be there. So you select as per your requirement. Then next. What name you want to give? It will take some name like here Windows Server 2012. You want to use some name, you give it. And where you want to install. When you use the VMware, it is not mandatory to install in C drive. Where you have the space, you do it. So suppose I have space in other drive. So I'll select the other drive. Then you want simplicity means you create one folder with any name. Then next. Up to this clear? So here it taken default how much? 60. I'm giving 40. 40 is more than enough. Next. You can say now finish, or you can go to the customized. Both way you can do. I'm showing you both way. First I'll go to the customized. Then go to where you are doing the installation through CD or DVD. No, through the ISO image. But you go to what? CD, DVD. Then select here which option? then you should have that ISO image. Already I copied into my machine in D drive. So can you see here 2012 server operating system? Select and open. Now you say what? Close. Finish. Suppose before giving the path you have finished, you will get a like this. Now also you can give the path like this. Select, go to the setting. Same thing I am repeating. Go to here what? CD, DVD. Go to here. Then browse where you kept. You select and say what? Open. Then say okay. Either you can do before finish or after finish also. Both options. Now our machine is ready. Now we can do what? Installation. So for installation, what you have to do? Power on. What you have to do? Power on the machine. Now this is the installation of 2012 server operating system. Up to this clear, or shall I show you once more how to create virtual machine? Understood everybody? Now it is the installation of Windows 2012 server operating. Same like or similar like Windows 7, 8 or 10. Very easy. First it is asking which language you want to use. Default it has taken English. If you want to change, you can change it. I'm going with what? Same language. Next. Now it is showing you what? You want to repair the computer or install? Install. Now you'll get two options. Customize or upgrade. You are doing upgrade or customizing. Already if it is there, you are updating means you should select update. But we are customize. Before that, it is asking you. Four options are there. Data center means for bigger companies. So here we are working with what? Similar. Tomorrow I'll tell you. Standard data center exactly similar. So here we'll go with what? Data center. Not data center, sorry, standard. So in standard, how many options you see? Two options. One is what? Server core. Another is what? Server with GUI. What is the difference means? If you select the first option, you can work only in text mode, not in graphic. So you want to work in both graphical and text mode means select what? Second option. What is the second option? Server with GUI. Don't go with server core. Select it what? Server with GUI means you can work in graphical as well as text. Now say what? Next. Now it will show you. Typical or before proceeding, compulsory you need to accept the license. Now you want to customize it or upgrade it. Upgrade means already it is installed. No, we are doing first time. So select the second option. What is that? Now it is asking you allocated size is there. You want to proceed for installation? Yes. Go with next. Over. Installation. Now once the installation is completed, it will ask one password. Whose password it will ask? Huh? One will be created default when we install any OS, which is that user administrator. Now once the this up to 100% over, it will ask what? Assign the password to administrator. So in the lab, in your personal machine, you give any password. But in the lab, we are using common password so that nobody will get the difficulty. What? Zoom underscore 123. Because in Windows, they have given minimum what? 7-character password, compulsory. Consists of numbers, alphabet, and special character. If you are not giving any of these three out of the combination of these three, it will not accept. So compulsory your password should have alphabet, numbers, and all three should be there. If you give only 8 character, only numbers or alphabet, it will not accept. If you want to disable that option is only after installation. How to disable that option? That is called compatibility. Complex password is complex. So how do you disable or overcome the complexibility? That we will see in the coming day session. Okay. Just give me a few minutes, it'll be over. Then I'll finish with the installation. That will be the end of today's session. So tomorrow don't come. Tomorrow will be holiday. Our next class will be on Monday. On Monday, we will continue with what? Two things are remaining in the network. What is that? IP address and operating system. That we will continue on Monday. Our OS got installed. Now it will ask you one password. Whose password? What is the password we are keeping in the lab? Simplicity. For administrator, Zoom underscore 123. For any other user, any password. But we will work with administrator. So the password is what? Zoom underscore 123. All small letter. Now it is asking the password. Whom? Or the administrator. So what is the password I am giving now? Zoom underscore 123. If you want to see, you can see like this. Now finish. So with this, the OS 2012 server have been installed on this machine. Okay. Any doubt regarding today's session? Okay. Any doubt? So shall we stop the session for today? So that's it for today. Thank you, everyone. Oh, you just write it what free version. Pass and pass. But why you will do that? We are giving you. If you want to try, you can do it. Or give us the pen drive. We'll give you. VMware with the 2012 server iOS release. So with this, we are done with today's session. That's it for today. Thank you, everybody. Imagine, before that, what used to do? Take the DVD, burn it. But nowadays, when we have this virtualization technology, the form of iOS extension will be what? iOS. So we don't have to use the DVTR one. Directly use the image. You have to take VMware. Setup file will be there. Double click on that. Next. Get installed. I'll give you. Get it? No. See, I told you, no. If 4 machines are there, so the hub will send that request from one machine. The request came, so it will send to all 4 machines. System one want to communicate with system three. So the request came from system one. So it will send to system one also, system two, system three, system four. But if you are using the hub, system one send the request. So it will send to remaining machine, not to the machine from where the request came. Means it will send to system two, system three, system four, but it will not system because system one will not communicate with itself. How to connect here? Here you have the switch. Here ports will be there. Access it. Hub will be also similar. Ports will be there. Like here, 40. అలా ఉంటుంది 16 అలా అదే డిపెండ్ ఈవెన్ నంబర్ లో ఉంటుంది స్విచ్ లో టైం ఎక్కువ తీసుకుంటుంది కమ్యూనికేషన్ అప్పుడు ఎప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు ఎవరు యూజ్ చేస్తారు वीडियो नहीं मिलता जो स्लाइड में मैं आपको बताया ना वो स्लाइड मिल जाएगा इस पे ऐप पे तुम टेक्नोलॉजीज ऐप यहाँ पे आ गया ना आपका अब आपको क्या होना तो आपको ये है 12 तो आपको क्या कोर्स कंटेंट है आपको क्या करना है कोर्सेज के बारे में देखना है कोर्स तो आपको इसमें लिखा हुआ है कौन सा कोर्स माइक्रोसॉफ्ट तो इसके अंदर आपको हाँ हाँ 12 के अंदर आपको 2 ऑप्शंस है एक आपको कोर्स का एनुअल चाहिए या प्रेजेंटेशन चाहिए प्रेजेंटेशन तो मैं स्लाइड वीडियोस यहाँ से नहीं रहते ये खाली Yes, I can able to connect now. Online students, you have any doubt? One student is remaining. Yes, please go ahead with your doubt or write it in the chat box. I can able to. I'm here. Yes, any doubt you have? Please write it in the chat. If any doubt is there. Any doubt regarding today's topic? No doubt. Can I close the session?
इंटरनेशनल